Aloha, we're now here with Robert Morales.
Hello.
Robert is the assistant warehouse manager here at Costco.
Hi, aloha, and welcome to Costco. We're here to present with a awareness show for hurricane and tsunami preparedness. It's a good opportunity. The emergency awareness basically will start in June 1st through June 30th. This is a good opportunity to become aware of what the needs are for in case of an emergency. And
I'm really glad that you do this show. You know, this is the second year that you've been hosting this kind of show, and I still have a little extra water because I don't think we had an emergency last year of major consequence, but I'm happy to have bottled water. I don't yet have a generator. Do you have it? I guess all you in apartments don't really need a generator this week, but how about a first aid kit? What has been the big sellers that you've seen when people are buying for emergencies? Do you know?
well, it's always going to be bottled water. That's always good to have handy. Batteries, flashlights, first aid kits, and to protect your foods, even a generator, something like this, 5,000 watt generator. It's always good to be prepared for any type of emergency.
Well, you know, what I'd really like to have is my television and my VCR and my generator, but I don't think that's probably the most logical thing to have. But you have all kinds of food things and things that can really last even, without an emergency. You can always sneak in and get the good stuff out of the secret supplies.
That's always correct, yes. And I think I do a good part on my job. I always hold any type of canned foods, things that have a long shelf life. That's always handy to have around.
Well, Costco's really been very active in our community, and we're really very happy that you decided to do this year again. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, and aloha.
Captain Electron. He's everywhere, that guy. Well, we're going to find out more about Captain Electron and see what things Maui Electric has for us so that we can be prepared in case of an emergency. Well, it looks like on the TV here at the Maui Electric booth is our show from last year. So, no, this is not a mirage. That is us. Here at Costco, this is the second annual Hurricane Preparedness, Hurricane and Tsunami Preparedness Show. In fact, why don't we get together and have some conversation with the folks here at Maui Electric. Who said Maui Electric isn't lovable? What is that?
Can't love Jason, right?
Welcome. This is a Maui Electric booth. We're here with Captain Electron. Who's Captain Electron?
Well, Captain Electron is our new company mascot. And what we're doing is we're using him to spread the word about energy savings and electrical awareness tips throughout the schools and through the county. So you're going to see him in the parades. He'll be in the county parade this year. He'll be in the schools. We'll do a lot of education through the community with him. So we'd like you to have a magnet with a message on it to be prepared against disaster.
Barbara, I am just really thrilled that Maui Electron is Maui Electron.
See, it's already
Maui Electron.
like
Captain Electron.
Captain Electron.
Yeah. Where did he come from?
We designed them in-house. We came up with an idea that would be a character that would be recognized as a firm, reliable source of power, and that's where the Electron message came from. And there's two other
Firm,
characters.
reliable source of power. That's another subject.
It's another. No, don't go there, Jason. And we also created two other characters you can see on the button here. But General NRG, which stands for solar energy, we really are pushing the use of solar for people to use.
Solar and wind. Yeah, you guys still have that program, don't you?
Yes.
$1,000.
rebate.
I guess it's sort of a rebate. It goes to the contractor, and then the balance, people still get a 35% state tax credit, huh?
Right, and if for the details on that, I have brochures in here, and also Jamie, our DSM supervisor, could.
Yeah, we'll get him on screen, but I think he knows you're doing a good job, and he knows I like girls better.
Oh, no.
So Maui Electric has been really a very strong proponent of renewable energy for a few years. You know, I'd like to see more solar in the mix, but I understand their need for firm power, and until the public is willing to pay the extra freight to do that. I'm really glad there's a solar water heating program.
We are too.
What do you guys estimate? Maybe 40% of the utility bill is for water heating?
Let me get Jamie to answer. Jamie, come on over here. To make sure you can answer.
This is Jamie Lou. Come on in. Here we go.
He gets the statistics right.
How are you doing, Jason? What was the question?
The question was about how much of the utility bill is for water heating.
Most people can save about 30% of their utility bill when they actually go to solar hot water. And that's obviously why we're promoting it, for the opportunity that the customers have, as well as the impact that it has for the utility.
And I know that some people have put it in. In fact, a lot of people have put it in over the years here on Maui, but a lot more still could do it. Do you have any statistics of quote, how things are going with the program?
Well, the program's very active. Typically promotes about 600 installations a year, for about over 2,000 in the last 3 years.
A drop in the bucket compared to what you all could be doing.
Yeah, what we're looking at now, of course, is trying to get into the new home market. We've started a program with 3 different builders have joined up to commit to always putting solar hot water on the new homes that they build.
I think we should share who they are. I know we have 3D Builders and Betzel. Who's the third?
Steel Frame Homes joined last, but 3D, of course, started the program with us, and then Betzel joined, and now Steel Frame Homes. The EPA has an Energy Star home program, which, since the solar hot water saves 30% of your energy bill, it qualifies as an Energy Star home, and that allows for opportunities for better financing, and obviously it recognizes the reality that if you build a new home with solar hot water on it, it's considerably less expensive to live in.
Now, I'm in the real estate and mortgage business, and I know that lenders will increase the potential loan to value by the value of the solar system. So nothing is lost. In fact, a lot is gained, and your real cost of living goes down. I think it's a terrific program, and I'm glad that it's still here. I thought it might go away and people wouldn't have that opportunity.
Oh no, we're very enthusiastic about the solar hot water program for homes, and continue to promote it aggressively. In fact, like I say, this new construction program is a very original approach, in the sense that we're the first in the state to do it, and now the other islands, of course, have joined in it. Like I say, the EPA has been promoting this program, and was very happy to participate. In fact, there are 2 different lenders that have already agreed to give discounts on the mortgages, so you actually end up with money in your pocket when you put in the solar hot water.
Well, I'm going to make a bid right now. I'm the 3rd lender. Really? Oh, we'll be happy to give a discount to people who put solar water heating on their homes.
Yeah, typically it's about a $500 discount, so that between that and the rebate, and then of course the tax savings,
Unbeatable.
yeah, it's hard to see why people wouldn't do it.
Now, what I want to see is more of you doing it out there. And what I think is most significant is that we're in a place where the sun shines all the time. And if you don't do it, you must realize, because Maui Electric actually petitions the Public Utilities Commission, this goes into your rates. That means you are paying for it, whether you put it on your home or not. So get to it.
Yeah, of course we want to.
That's right, huh?
Well, we want to see everybody participate, and everybody that participates, of course, benefits.
That's the point. So let's see you participating. And are you doing any shows? Do you have any live Captain Electron planned?
I haven't seen any yet. That's really Barbara's plan.
We'll have to get Barbara to be Captain Electron.
Yeah, well, we're trying to pick who's going to run around with this suit on, right?
It was sort of a green Santa Claus. Well, we hope that the people of Maui start to, 600 installations a year is fine, and I'm sure that you're happy with the numbers. But I am, as a citizen, I'm not happy with the numbers, because I know, with all the griping that people do about building of new power plants, if we all did what we could do to reduce our energy consumption through renewables like solar, we would slow the growth of those power plants, which Maui Electric could be fine with, I'm sure.
Yeah, the advantage of the solar hot water heating is that it takes the energy from the sun and applies it to the evening peak, and that's why it's significant.
Now you also have programs for commercial lighting and other kind of programs with incentives as well, don't you?
Yeah, we have a whole range of customer efficiency programs. The other residential program, of course, is still with water heating. You can get, right here at Costco, you can get efficient electric water heaters and in fact get a rebate from Maui Electric for that. The commercial programs involve lighting and motors and air conditioning, and we're very active in terms of getting both equipment changed out as well as making sure the new construction involves the most efficient equipment available.
I also know that I imagine you may be still involved at Kaku, Maui Community Television, are you?
Well, not as organizationally, just as a user, I guess. But
a user. I hate that word user, but here we are.
Yeah, user of the channel, and I'm still involved in terms of I know all the people, and it's a good organization.
It is. Well, I am really happy to have spent this time with you, and I hope that all you people out there take heed. You know, part of being prepared is having your own system that runs by itself. If Maui Electric goes off, wouldn't it be nice to know you still have hot water to take a shower? You know, the water comes to you because it's on pressure. But if you can't heat your water, it'd be nice to be heating it with solar. One of those small benefits, even if you're in an emergency. Jamie, thank you, really. I appreciate it. Anything else that you'd like to add, that you'd like to tell the public?
Well, I was going to mention that the mayor, Kimo Opana, gave a proclamation about a month ago recognizing the Energy Star program with the EPA and with Maui Electric and with the three builders that we mentioned, 3D and Betzel and Steel Frame Homes. And you can watch that program on our Kaku every now and then. It runs a couple times a week right now to actually see the mayor make the proclamation. And the mayor made an interesting comment that he had decided not to put solar hot water on his new home, and he learned 5 years later that he would have actually saved a lot of money if he'd have done that, and he could have had all the things he wanted in his home, as well as the solar hot water.
Let me tell you, Mr. Pana, Mayor Pana, it is not too late. Solar is always the appropriate choice at any point. And
point out he has put solar on his home now.
Okay, you're off the hook, but not the rest of you. Thank you for being here with us.
Okay. Thank you.
Aloha.
Thank you, and aloha.
Barbara?
Okay. Thanks, Jason, for the big support on solar. We love it.
Oh, solar's been my baby since the beginning. You may not know that I came here in 1988 with the full intention of doing a large project involving all the hotels and solar, involving electricity and hot water. But I guess you'd say I was ahead of my time. People tell me I was the runway that other planes have now been flying on. I sort of felt like a runway, I must tell you.
Got a little run over there.
A little run over. But I'm happy to be there as the public starts to get the picture that renewable technologies will work.
Get there and get the support. That's great.
I was talking to Jamie. What do you think? Are we going to have Captain Electron coming out and visiting?
We are. We're going to have him all over the place. He's going to be a busy guy.
Are you going to, who's going to be Captain Electron? Have you figured out yet?
Yeah, we have
Bill Bonnet?
Well, he said he'd wear the yellow tights. He offered.
Oh, that's a good choice.
We have a lot of people that are really supportive of the program, and we really want to get the message out and make it fun and educational for people. Thank you for the intro.
It's my great pleasure. I want everyone to know that we're here at Costco for the second annual Hurricane Preparedness Show, and we had the Red Cross and now Maui Electric. Let's see who else is here. Aloha, I'm here with Dee Brown of the American Red Cross. Aloha, Dee.
Aloha, Jason.
It's really good to see you here again.
It's good to see you again this
You
year.
know, you are the always, everywhere volunteer. I must tell you that our community is a much better place because of all the hard work that you've been doing for, seems like, forever. Please don't leave us.
I shan't. There's still too much that needs to be done.
That's true. So why are you here today?
Well, today I'm here as Chair of Disaster Services for the American Red Cross. I'm here today because hurricane season starts June 1st. And so I'm here to pass out brochures and to talk with people and let them know what they need to do to be prepared for hurricane season.
So give us some examples if you can be, okay?
Well, a good thing that I'm trying to get across to people is many people in watching television have gotten the concept that if they are evacuated to a shelter, that they're going to be fed, there's going to be coffee, food, water, everything that they want, cots to sleep on.
You mean that's not true? It's not like the Grand Wailea?
That is not true. Most of the shelters are at the public schools. And so if you are evacuated to go to a shelter, you need to be prepared to have sufficient food, water, medications for yourself and your family for a minimum of 3 days, preferably 5 days.
I guess that's because if an emergency happens, until relief can get here, we're on our own, huh?
That's exactly it. Because it would take 3 to 5 days, depending on how extensive the damage is, for National Red Cross to be able to start helping by shipping in food and water and things on that line.
So do we keep any reserves here at the American Red Cross? Some, I guess.
Not really. We had attempted in years past to reserve, to have cots available. But with the American Red Cross, services are available to anyone. To anyone. Our door is never closed. Therefore, if we provide a cot for one person, we must provide a cot for every person. Consequently, in years past, we did start trying to put up a reserve of cots, but the problem that we ran into was that the type of weather and humidity and everything that we have here, they deteriorated. So there's no way that it can be there's no way that things could be stockpiled like that. The same thing with food and water. The Red Cross on the chapter level does not have the funding available to well, in Maui County, we're looking at over 100,000 people. So there's no way, again, that we would be able to furnish food and water to over 100,000 people.
So I think it's critical that the public understand you have to realize that you have to be prepared. American Red Cross will bring extra help and help coordinate a lot of the help, but you need to prepare and have things ready for your family, and if you have extra, good, you can help others.
Right.
What kind of things should people be gathering together from your experience, Dee?
Well, bottled water, of course. Then they should also be looking at non-perishable food, things that can be eaten directly from the can. Spam, Vienna sausages, green beans, anything that does not require cooking. Make sure you pack a non-electric can opener. The other thing you need to make sure of also is medications, because if there's a major disaster, there won't be any place to go down and get it and pick it up. So you've got to make sure that you have a minimum of 5 days worth of medication. If you have a pet, you want to make sure that that we cannot, unfortunately, unless it is a seeing eye animal, and a registered seeing eye animal, dog, we cannot let that animal in the shelter. If you do not make plans for them ahead of time with the Humane Society, then unfortunately your pets will have to stay in your vehicle, parked in the parking lot or parked wherever it might be.
Well, that's a big one. I guess some people, they think of their animals as their children, but so be it. But they can make arrangements with the Humane Society.
Yes. They can contact the Humane Society. My understanding, the way the program works, is that with a hurricane, fortunately, you do have time, a few days, to begin preparing for it. My understanding, the Humane Society will board out, in a sense. They have volunteers that the animals that they have currently in the shelter for adoption will be boarded out to families that have the facilities to keep them. That way, freeing up the shelter itself for people to bring in their pets for safety during a storm.
That's great. So you have a full display here of pictures of disaster. How fun. Has there been an experience of hurricanes on Maui that the Red Cross has helped, or just general? I've seen you out at after fires and all kinds of different emergencies.
We've been very fortunate that in anybody's recent memory, we have been spared. We have been spared the unpleasantness, if you want to say, of having been hit by a hurricane. In '92, Hurricane Aniki did fortunately bypass us, but hit Kauai. Maui sustained beach erosion, boats being damaged, but fortunate, and some high winds, but minimal amount of damage.
Wasn't there a flood in K&I in the 40s? I guess we were all children at that time, or I wasn't even a child.
I'm with you. I don't think I was even a glimmer in anyone's eye at that point.
So what you're saying is that maybe because we've been so unhit by some of these problems, we take it all very lightly.
That's very true. I find it at a display like this, in talking with people, when I ask them if they are prepared for hurricane season, a response that I get a lot of is, oh, I've lived here for 20 years, we've never been hit by a hurricane. But that's not saying that we won't. A year and a half ago, towards the end of the hurricane season of '98, we had 2 hurricanes that at one point were headed directly for Maui. Fortunately, they changed course, they went lower, and the Big Island sustained some wind and water damage, but that was all the damage the Hawaiian Islands sustained. But had those 2 hurricanes, one right behind the other, had they continued on their initial course, they would have touched land on Maui.
Well, you really do important work. Like I say, I see Dee Brown everywhere. You probably see Dee Brown everywhere, and this year, like every year, I know you're going to be in the political realms. I hope people will take a look at Dee Brown. She's a wonderful lady who's done so much help, and I hope that all of you will also take her wisdom here and prepare so that, God forbid, some kind of emergency happens. You will be prepared. Thank you, Dee Brown.
Thank you very much, Jason.
It's a pleasure always to see you.
Always a pleasure to see you. Your face is out there constantly, too. That's how come we keep seeing each other.
Well, you know, I got to tell you, it's always really a pleasure to see you. You're always a smiling face. You know, you're the kind of face that if there was a disaster, it's really nice to know that you have that warm and loving heart to be there for people.
Well, I do. I've been told, and I have to kind of agree, I've got a head for business, but I've got a heart for the people.
Well, it's our blessing. Thank you.
Aloha.
We're going to be repeating our segment with Maui Civil Defense that was on last year. When you see the guy that looks like me and he doesn't have a big white beard, that's my younger brother. You'll notice him. So that's good information, and really nothing has changed in that regard. So you're going to say, I think I saw this show. But no, it was just a segment from last year from the Civil Defense. Aloha. Aloha. I'm here with Kyle Watanabe. Aloha.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Kyle is the administrator for the Civil Defense for the County of Maui. In case there's an emergency, I imagine we're going to hear some sirens from you guys, right?
That's correct. Yeah, depending on the situation, on a tsunami warning or a hurricane warning, you definitely hear sirens.
Are there different kinds of sirens for different kinds of emergencies?
Oh no, the sirens are basically used to notify the public to turn on their radio. So anytime you hear the siren, that's an indication, and that's the signal for you to turn on your radio. When we sound the sirens, that's when you'll hear a message over the radio saying why we're sounding the siren. In the case of a tsunami warning, or a hurricane warning.
Okay. Are there any things that the people of Maui need to know as their first line of defense that they can do to be prepared so that when you come to a situation, you know that they've done at least the minimum of what they need to do?
Oh yes, definitely. Right now we're in the hurricane season. Hurricane season runs from June to November, and we're stressing hurricane preparedness. One of the first things we ask people to do is to look in the telephone book, in the front pages of the telephone book. There's this section on disaster preparedness and disaster information. If you need that type of information, it's already in the telephone book, and they're very concise. It tells you how to put together a simple plan, and also some of the things you need in your survival kit. If you need additional information, you can call us here at Civil Defense, and we have quite a number of booklets and brochures that you'll be able to
What's the phone number here?
Okay, the phone number of Maui Civil Defense is 270-7285.
270-7285.
Yes.
That's a different exchange that I'm used to, but you guys will remember that. Write it down right now.
270-7285.
7285. And also, open up your telephone book because, I've been speaking to different agencies, yours included, and if there is a disaster, the thing that's most important is that we shouldn't be relying on civil defense to have all our answers for us. If there's a tsunami and part of the island is hit, or there's a hurricane, those that aren't hit and the things they've prepared will help those that don't have anything left. So don't think, I like to stress that being prepared for an emergency is important. Civil defense is there through our dollars to support us, and we have to learn to be prepared ourselves as well.
Correct.
Good message, right?
I like that message. We're always stressing, personal preparation and family planning as part of, your activities when you're doing these type of things for any type of disaster or impending situation. That's the key. You have to be self-prepared. You have to take care of yourself because it'll take a while before government or all the other organizations be able to respond to you after a major disaster.
Yeah, in any disaster, we don't know what scope that disaster will take. So I think it's a good idea for all of us to be ready for this emergency and hope we never have to deal with it. When you do get into action, what exactly do you guys do?
Okay. Well, what we're standing here right now is what we call our emergency operating center. Once we get to that situation where it's a major situation, what we do is we activate our EOC. The EOC, again, is the Emergency Operating Center. What that means is we have the various representatives from the various departments such as police, fire, public works, highways, Red Cross, even the airports people, Hawaiian Electric, Hawaiian Telephone. They come into this room here, and then what we do is we sit down and we explain the situation to them. Okay. In the case of a hurricane, if there's an impending hurricane out there, we give them updates as far as what's happening with the hurricane, what's its tracks, and what's the expected forecast. From there, when we activate our EOC is then when we start to work on the various problems or issues that come up as we go through the various stages from a watch to a warning to the actual disaster itself. So when we activate our EOC, we have quite a number of people sitting in here working on their problems and situations. One of the first things that they need to do is follow their procedures and checklists. All the departments and organizations have their checklists and procedures, and they go through it one step at a time. So when we activate, we all sit in here and we just do quite a number of things until the disaster actually hits us.
Okay. Is there anything that you'd like to tell the people directly to make sure that they're ready, or is there a message that you'd like to deliver that can make your job easier when you serve them?
Okay, well, I've thought about it many times, and we ask people to make their own personal preparation plans and their own family planning, and I guess the Boy Scout motto is be prepared, and in disaster situations, and we don't know when anything is going to happen. So we always ask people to always be prepared and do their preparations. And again, go back to the telephone book and look in there for further information.
Thank you very much for sharing with all of us.
Okay, thank
Kyle,
you.
it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Aloha.